Hello, space dogs! I'm back, and finally with Pump It Up Double X 20 Dos Equis, whatever you want to call it. Oh, jeez. Sorry for the delay. I know I set this for 6, and it is now 6:16, so I know I'm late, but well, you know, usual. But I'll tell you about it because that's what we do here. To be honest, I really wanted to do this stream 2 weeks ago now. I was setting up for it on Wednesday, the whatever that was, 2 weeks ago. I was trying to get ready to go to work at IchibanCon down in North Carolina, and I thought, oh yeah, you know, I can probably get a stream in while I'm doing that. Nope, couldn't do it. You know, you would think that since I've streamed Pump before, that like everything would just kind of fall together and like be easy, but that isn't what happened at all. So yeah, I basically was trying to get it all set up, and then I was probably 90% of the way there in the late afternoon of Wednesday, but I had a really early flight Thursday morning to catch, and I had done zero packing or prep or anything, so I had to just kind of call it. I was like, I can't take 2 or 3 hours to stream and run the risk that I won't be ready to actually, like, you know, travel in a few hours. So I made the decision to just postpone it until I got back. And so I'm back now, and here we are. So anyway, I am so out of practice on all of this too. Oh, the other thing too is I set the stream for 6 o'clock, but 6 o'clock is the cat's treat time. So I was like, oh shoot. So I had to run upstairs and give the cats their treats. Otherwise they will be super sad face, and we don't want that. So I gave them their treats, and I came back down, and then I was mostly ready to go, except for, you know, everything that I wasn't ready for. I am the new thing, at least so I'm realizing I don't think I've done an arcade stream since September of last year, so October, November, December. So it's been like 3, almost 4 months actually since I've done an arcade stream. I've done some I know I've done a bunch of streams with Belinda, various, you know, Jackbox and karaoke and story time and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if I've done a console stream. I might have, but hopefully I'll get around to doing some more of those. But Belinda is in bed right now, so I saw your question there, Adrian. So, which is why I'm streaming by myself, because I've got the time. But anyway, oh, so I. Since I was doing these streams, since I was doing Pump streams, I guess the last one was about a year ago, like January of 23. I now have fiber to the home, so I have a much better internet connection now, and so I'm trying something new-ish rather than going through Restream to stream to both YouTube and Twitch. I'm streaming to both of them directly because I have the bandwidth to be able to do that. So the hope is, at least on the YouTube side, the quality may be slightly better, and on both platforms, the latency should be a little bit lower. So hopefully will be a little bit more real time, so it won't take me, 20,000 minutes to actually answer y'all's questions. Except that it will while I'm playing because, I'm not likely to answer questions while I'm playing. So if you pile a bunch of questions on while I'm playing, you'll have to wait until I'm done probably. But anyway, hopefully you can hear me okay. I assume that you can because nobody has shouted in the chat like, oh no, can't hear. So that is hopefully okay. Let me know how it is once we get going on in the game. I do have some stories to tell you here. So the thing that was holding up Double X all this time is that Double X no longer supports SD video, so it is 1080p only apparently. They don't even give you 720p. It's like, nope, 1080 or die. So it's like, all right. This being an old SX cabinet, this monitor is not capable of 1080p, and is also the wrong aspect ratio. The old CRT in here, good old Kortek. But interestingly, I was able to get this monitor to display 1080i. It will do that. I don't know that it likes it, but it will do it. So it's a relatively capable monitor. But anyway, I have a series of like scalers and adapters all hooked up to take the 1080p signal down to 480p so that we can put it on this monitor and that I'll be able to play. That was a whole process of finding things that would work. And then, amusingly, this was back in December, I think like the beginning of December maybe, that I was working on this. And as soon as I got it working, and I had the game up and running, on the monitor, and it looked good, and I, played a test game, and I'm like, yay, this is gonna work. And then the monitor died. So the monitor just literally quit working, and wouldn't power on, and it was like stuck in a reset loop. So you could just, whenever you turn the cabinet on, you would just hear it kind of like clicking, but you would never get any picture. And I was like, well, shit. And so a little bit of history of this monitor in here anyway. I bought this cabinet, gosh, what was it, 2008 maybe? Brand new, in box, delivered to my door. I think it was 2008. And I forget how long it was, but within a year or two of having the cabinet, the picture started to like collapse horizontally, not vertically. Vertical collapse is like a fairly common like monitor, CRT monitor thing, but this was like horizontal shrinkage. So it was just like the picture was failing to fill the whole width of the screen. And I could go into the adjustment menu and just kind of bump it back out a little bit, and kind of go on about my business. But eventually it shrank over time. It shrank enough that I no longer had enough adjustment to get it to go full width. And then as time progressed, it just got smaller and smaller and smaller until it was this kind of like narrow, skinny thing in the middle of the screen. It never went to like one line or anything, but it was very not good. Worked with a friend to try and fix it, and wasn't really able to get anywhere with it at the time. And so I discharged the tube, disconnected the chassis, and sent it off to this guy that had done some monitor work for me in the past. Although in the past he had come to my house and done the work, but in this case I was just going to ship the parts to him and have him work on it. Well, long story short, he disappeared off the face of the earth. I don't know. I completely lost contact with the guy. I never heard from him again. I mean, I not to be morbid and also not kidding. I mean, I don't know what happened to him. Maybe he died. But anyway, my monitor chassis board was with him, so I never got that back. So now I have had a monitor tube with no chassis to drive it, and obviously that didn't work at all. It turns out that Kortek, they made two versions of this monitor. Well, actually, they made two different monitors. The one that's in the newer SX cabinets was the 2914, and then the bigger one that's in the GX cabinets was the 3414. And there is one in the there's like a curved version of each, and then like a flat tube version of each. Or I don't know if there's a curved version of the 34, but there is a curved version and a flat version of the 29. But it turns out that all three of those monitors, the 29 curved, the 29 flat, and the 34 flat, all use the same chassis board. So I was able to pick up one of those chassis boards. They have like minor differences to account for the different tubes, but 95% of it is all the same. So I was able to pick up another board and had a friend modify it for me to work with this tube, and I was back on the road again. But anyway, flash forward another 10 years or so to just this past December, while I was working on getting double X display on it, it started to do the shrinking again, and I was like, ah, shit. But it kind of skipped over the being able to like spread it back out. It was already too small to be able to get it to go full screen, and then it just up and died. Anyway, let's see. To glitch is forcing 1080i. What killed it? It probably didn't help. But no, I don't think so. I have a feeling it was going to go anyway. Now, running it at 1080i does drive it a lot harder than running it at 480p, so I probably accelerated the process of it, like, flipping out. but I don't think that's what actually killed it. I think it was going to go anyway. So, what ended up happening, what we learned was that the horizontal output transistor had died. So we replaced that, and then the monitor came back to life, but it was still too small. And so then, I went and did a cap job and replaced all the electrolytic capacitors, like you do on CRT monitors. Unfortunately, that didn't really have any effect, although, the monitor is over a decade old now, so it was probably time to do that anyway. But then it was me working with Brandon trying to figure out what was causing the horizontal not to be able to go full width, and we eventually narrowed it down to these two film caps. And amusingly, those two film caps were right next to the horizontal output transistor. So likely what was happening was those film caps had died, and they were dead. Like, they were, or not dead, but they were definitely like severely out of spec. I don't remember the numbers anymore, but they were like, 50% out of what they should have been or more. One of them was like 50% and the other one was like, 70% out. So they were probably feeding that horizontal output transistor bad power, which was causing it to shrink, and was also probably what caused it to die. So replace those capacitors, and everything's back to normal. So hooray! So that's the saga of this monitor. And now that it's working again, here we are. I was playing around, so I don't know if you can tell in the camera here, I actually have the vertical controls, the vertical size control, crushed down in order to create basically a letterbox effect, so I can see the full widescreen image on the 4x3 tube. I can also, I did some experimentation with letting it be the full height and then basically increasing the width so that the sides of it fell off the sides of the 4x3 screen, so you could only see just basically the middle of the 16:9 image. That actually worked really well. All of the gameplay stuff is within the 4x3 area. It's perfectly fine to play it that way. The only issue with it is the modifier menu is partially cut off on the screen, and then if you're familiar at all with the modern pump interface, when you choose different modifiers, so like speed mods or skins or whatever, the things that display what mods you have chosen are fully at the very edges of the screen. So those were completely off screen when I was working with it in that format. So it was kind of difficult to use the mod menu, but the game was completely playable. But I decided to go ahead and do the letterbox effect instead for two reasons. Number one, by stretching it out so much, the geometry got a little bit wonky on screen, and so like for instance, the arrows that were closer to the center were kind of squished, and the arrows that were further out to the side were kind of wide, so it looked a little bit wonky. Plus, by increasing the scanning width, I was effectively, working the monitor a little bit harder, and since I just spent so much time trying to repair it, I was a little reluctant to push my luck. So I decided, well, we'll just crush it down and do it this way. It makes it a little bit small on screen, but it seems perfectly playable. I haven't played a lot on this yet, but I didn't have any trouble when I tried, so. So hopefully it'll be okay. Let's see. Honestly, so, Cheapy Chris, monitor doesn't really care. I mean, yes, it would probably be better to have the scaler do it, but the effect is basically the same. Again, by doing it this way, if anything, I'm running the monitor less hard than it normally would. But realistically, it's really not anything different. All right, let's see what else is new. The overhead camera here is now a GoPro instead of a webcam. So hopefully, if I set everything correctly, which I think I did, but let me make sure. This should be, the overhead view should be 60 FPS now. It was before, but it was, I think, 60. It was 60 FPS at 720. But this can do 60 FPS at 1080. So obviously I'm not running it at 1080 in this small little window on the screen, but it should have a little bit clearer resolution for you and a little bit more solid frame rate. And it's actually a little easier for me to run it because all of the cameras are just run through HDMI now. And there's I actually took all of the USB stuff out of the chain. So there's a Camlink PCI card in the PC now. So the game video, the overhead camera, and the main camera all just plug straight into that card. And in fact, there's one more space available. It'll take up to 4. So, do I still have the chat monitor off screen? Do I? I don't have the one over by the camera at the moment. I just didn't take the time to get that out. I have a chat monitor over here. So if you see me looking over here, that's what I'm looking at to be able to read to you. Yeah, I mean, so Chris, I'm running the risk, either way, I'm running the risk of doing some burn, because even if I scale it before I hit it to the monitor, I'm still going to have these black bars at the top and bottom that aren't doing anything. So, it's a risk I'm willing to take. I'm not really planning to play it a ton, so I'm not that worried about it. I also have the all of the contrast and brightness and stuff turned fairly far down, so it's not actually driving the tube all that hard. But I'm willing to play with a slightly dimmer image just for the just for the sake of longevity, I guess. What I didn't do, or what I'm just realizing I don't think I did. I don't think I synchronized the 3 video sources. I'm looking at again, I haven't done this in a while, so I'm out of practice. But I'm looking at the stream right now, and they seem, if they're not in sync, they are out of sync so little that it doesn't matter. Yeah. I did. So, James, I do have another monitor that I could run, and that was the cool thing, is that I had put it right next to the camera. That way I can kind of look, basically at the camera or in that direction and see the chat, so that I'm not, looking over here at something that you can't see, which is not the best look. But I don't know. I didn't take the time to set it up. I thought about it, and maybe next stream. But yeah, so glitched. I'm trying real hard to get rid of as much USB stuff in this setup as I can, because I have a feeling that it was what was causing most of my issues and frustration with the old setup. In particular, I noticed that the game capture would sometimes go down from 60 frames to 30 frames, and I assumed that was just not enough USB bandwidth to take the 60 frames with everything else that was going on. So hopefully this'll look better and be more stable, but we'll find out, because I really have not tested any of this at all. I just set it up, and I'm gonna hope for the best. But hey, Kieran, good to see you. Do I plan to do a party stream at some point? Probably. Yeah, I figure, I don't know how many streams of Double X I'm gonna do. I think I definitely want to try and play all of the new songs, since that was like what I was doing with all the other Pump games. Might as well keep that trend going. But beyond that, I don't know what I'm doing. But as long as it took to set all of this up again, I definitely want to get 2 or 3 streams out of this before I tear it down, because Jesus, it's a lot of work. But anyway, you didn't get any frame rate issues, but you would get desync. Yeah, I had desync problems with different equipment. I didn't have any desync problems with the stuff that I'd been using in the last couple of years. In the very early days, I was having problems. In the very early days, one of the cameras was actually being run wirelessly, so, all bets are off if that's ever going to work right. But, anyway, yep. So, I guess let's find out if this works. So, I'm gonna start a game and see how it goes. All right, can you still hear me over the game? Oh, and yes, this is the Chinese version of Double X. Boss Battle bought a cabinet from China that was running Double X, but then they bought a new kit for Phoenix. So they're running Phoenix on the floor at the arcade now, which meant that their Double X drive was just kind of like hanging out doing nothing. And I was like, can I take this? And they're like, sure. So now I have it. So there you go. I'm thinking about, I don't know. We'll see how this goes. Depending on how this goes, I may get a Double X kit for myself, or sorry, a Phoenix kit for myself. But that's expensive, so I'm gonna want this to work really well before I decide to make that choice. All right, how about a warm-up? I did play some Pump. I actually played a decent amount of Pump at the convention, and I got to play some Step Maniacs during the break week in between the 2 weekends. So I've played a decent amount of dance games in the last week or so, but just not here, so.
record!
Yeah, it is very Chinese.
Next stage!
Right down to the how to play. In fact, even the menu is Chinese, which is troublesome. Because I know as much Chinese as I know Japanese and Korean, and that is to say, basically none. Oh yeah, I remember this song. This is a good one. Oh man, so having played Phoenix a little bit now, game's great. I really enjoy it, but whew, I do definitely miss the performance charts. Because a lot of the doubles charts just start like at too high of a difficulty to really get much freestyling in.
I wanna keep it 대로 순수함까만 나름 서신 지켜나를 왜 또 잡아 Radio 노안에 내 미래를 거주했겨 그들만의 밤 누군가를 거절하고 혼자 지낸 밤까지 밀어버려 그게 만약 나를 바꿔주는 계기 그때 나를 계속 유지해버리고 나를 밀어 What is love? We can fly Go and you see me Fly go what's up what? What's up what's up what? What is love? We can fly Go and you feel me Fly go what's up what? 빛의 eye 여기 왜 왔어 여기 I ain't gonna lie 머리 지어뜯고 무언가를 미워하던 사이 하나뿐이 되어버린 나의 삶 기다림이 설레임으로 바뀌어버린 time 날 누군가의 그런 것을 줄 수 있을까 뿌린 대로 거둔다면 여기 둘 테니까 아무 때나 좋으니 맘이란 바꿔 눈꺼풀에게 한 수를 져줬을 때 비로소 흔들거리는 노을 신호두면 최화의 거리 이걸 다갈라일 다리 말해보자 마음으로 봐 보이는 것들들 따라와줘 나의 쟁가는 별의 어른들은 나의 모든 것에 대한 주석이 필요해 날 let me hit one 직관으로 아무것도 몰랐지만 끼어있던 그들은 날 wave We can fly Go and you see me Fly go what's up what What's up what's up what What is love We can fly Go and you feel me Fly go what's up what What's up what's up what What is love
Yeah! I knew you could do it! Wow! New
I'm gonna turn
record!
it up a little bit in the room for me. It's not very loud for me.
Next stage!
Basically, the only mods I really use are speed and skin. So, and I don't need the skin. I normally play old version skin, but it's not like necessary. So, I may adjust the speed now and again, but other than that, whatever. Not too worried. Jeez, why? Why is everything so hard? And then the performance is a 3, which is a little low for me. I mean, it's nice if I'd actually like work something out, but I definitely haven't. So.
조금씩 같이 걸으면 어디서도 함께일 수 있겠지 잠시 동안 곁에 머물렀던 너의 따스함이 남아서 밤새워 잠들 수 없는 걸 살며시 다가가 너를 주고 싶은 건 우리도 만나실 수도 없이 많은 그 비밀 나를 가지고 있는
I would have done the normal double, but a 14 is going to be like really pushing it for me.
기억할게 날 다시 만날 수 있게 날 꿈에서 그려나라 기분은 밤하늘에 너와 나 약속해 날 언제까지 나만을 달빛이 돼줄게 이 세상 모든 빛이 같은 꿈을 난 언제까지나 알 수 있다면 그렇게 영원히 우리 만나니까
Again, if I'd worked something out, this would probably be fine.
밤하늘에 저 달빛이 깊게 잠들어
But I haven't, so it's going to be a little bit boring. A little boring for me, a little boring for you.
기억해줘 날 다시 만날 수 있게 날 꿈에서 그려줘 기분은 밤하늘에 너와 나 약속해 날 영원히 빛나는 꿈과 같은 나의
I thought about doing, looked like there was a single 6. That still would have been a little bit low, but it would have been okay. Alright, how about a little bit more?
Yeah! I knew you could do it! Wow! New record! Game over!
Oh, I guess that was it. Man, so that's another thing. I've been getting used to playing Phoenix, carding in and playing premium mode, where often I'll get 5 songs, which is just like brutal. It's just brutal. 5 songs is a lot. But, so that with 3 songs felt very, very short to me, actually. I'm also spoiled by not having to pick my options anymore. So having to do that every time since I'm not online is a mild bummer.
Love is timing 내맘 같은 timing 지금이야 고백해줘 좋아한다고
I don't know, is it supposed to be 4? Maybe I have it set wrong.
New record!
It's scary to think some of these licenses are over 5 years old now. You know, I feel like Double X was already like
Next stage!
into like K-pop territory that I'm relatively unfamiliar with. I know a lot of like early 2010s K-pop, so like 2010 to like 2013-ish or so. So like, I know a lot of the ones in Prime 2 and earlier, but a lot of these are pretty unfamiliar to me anyway. I like them. I just don't really know them outside of the game.
어둠 끝에서는 네가 보고 있을 것만 같아 자꾸만 나를 흔들어 내 꿈속을 헤매고 있어 잊혀진 시간 속에 덫에 빠진 것처럼 이 맘에 미쳐 커다란 새겨진 위험한 rainbow 시간을 멈출 수만 있다면 I can feel it 날아올라 꽃빛으로 가득 물들여 매일 밤 네 곁에 영원히 잠들 수 있게 I can make it 더 다가와 내 모든 꿈을 다 가져가 조용히 그 속에 숨어 널 데려가게 I can fake it 멈추지 마 내게서 멀어지려 하지 마 넌 이 꿈속에서 영원히 잠들 수 없어 I can make it 날아올라 내 모든 앞을 다 가져가 조용히 그 속에 숨어 널 데려가게
Yeah! I knew you could do it! Wow! New record!
The operator menu is actually still in English.
Next stage!
Fortunately. That would make my life extra hard. I keep turning it up a little bit because I had it down pretty low, but also my ear's a little bit funky. Belinda and I actually went and got our ears molded, or we got molds made to get in-ear monitors for our singing streams, among other things. But there was, I don't know, my right ear, no problem, easy. Left ear, like when they got the silicone and stuff in there, it just felt, there was like a lot of extra pressure and my ears felt a little bit funky since then. Not like real bad, but just slightly off. You know, it occurs to me I could have just used regular stomp code, I guess, for speed. actually normally what I do.
그대는 귀여운 나의 고민 고양이 새빨간 리본이 멋지게 어울려 그러나 어쩌다 둔해져 버리면 얄밉게 엉키어서 마음 상해요 검은 고양이 내로 귀여운 나의 친구는 검은 고양이 내로 이랬다 저랬다 장난꾸러기
Wow, you're awesome!
Yeah,
Wow,
so
new record!
I think what happens, I think the international kit allows you to switch languages. All of the kits that are specific to a particular region, I know Chinese
Game over.
and Korean definitely do not allow you to switch it. I don't know about the Latin American one, because theoretically it should at least let you switch between Spanish and Portuguese, I would think. But yeah, I think that's basically, because I know that a lot of the other regions are sold at a different price than the international one, and so it's kind of like region locking, right? Where they don't want, they want to give you a reason to buy the one for your region. International's just English? I thought it let you switch, but I don't know. I haven't played with it that much. But anyway, yeah, if you look in here, it's the operator menu's in English, but if I go down to language and I push the button, like, it doesn't do anything. It's just stuck on Chinese forever. But like all of the menus in here. So initial life 4. Ugh. So I can make it 5, but the default is 4. So I guess 3 songs is the default. So if you've been getting 4, I guess you either different regions have a different default, or your operator is just kind. You want me to turn break off? I'm not terribly likely to break, because I'm not terribly likely to play anything super difficult. It's not really my thing. I'm definitely like a moderate level player and a freestyler.
大家好。
I like that Pump It Up has always just played the preview once and then stopped. It doesn't just repeat it forever, like DDR.
Don't make me love you. 약해 올라온 거품. 왜 자꾸 나를 보며 웃는데 보는 걸 느끼게 아쉬운 표정이 또 이렇게 나오네. Really freaky baby going wrong. Doesn't matter what you baby hate or love. 네가 가는 길을 drop me off. 가볍게 take it off. 오늘 밤이 가기 전에 밀어내. Stop and stop it. 손 눈을 가리고. Stop and stop it. 지친 맘을 던지고. 이틀 새는 몸짓으로 잠시 너랑 지나려도. Stop and stop it. Now I'll let you go. I know, I know. I know, I know. Snapping, ooh, snapping, snapping. I feel so fine. 난 자유로워. You feel so bad. 나뿐인 넌. I feel so done. 이 스토리가 끝나. Snapping, snapping. 손 눈을 가리고. Snapping, snapping. 지친 맘 던지고. 이틀 새는 몸짓으로 잠시 너랑 지나려도. Snapping, snapping. Now I'll let you go. I know, I know. I know, I know. Snapping, ooh, snapping, snapping.
For a second, I happened to look at the streaming monitor and saw the game in there, and my brain started processing that as when I was playing. But of course, it's slightly behind because obviously it's, got to go through the capture and all that kind of stuff to get here. And it took me a second to like turn my brain off and be like, no, ignore that.
Next stage.
손 눈을 가리고. Snapping, snapping. 지친 맘을 던지고.
Yeah, I might be able to pick up an international drive now that the game is not current. Theoretically, I could pick up a used drive that might not cost $1 billion. I'll keep my eyes open, but I'm not in like desperate need of it. Mostly, I just wanted to play the game. If it's in Chinese, it's okay.
꿈꿔왔던 지금 이 순간이 터질 듯해 너를 향한 맘이 이제 더는 숨길 수가 없어 내 눈을 봐봐.
For those of you that haven't been watching me for a while or at all, I will say that like there are a few 14s I can do, but it would be a real struggle for me. So I'm likely to try anything up to 13. Past that, I'm probably going to do something a little easier. And I was also talking there just to see, can you hear me over the game? Because if you can't, then I will try and adjust things. Why did I read that like it was Ace? So I was wondering if this was going to seem too small. It's not. It feels fine. I don't know. Other people will probably complain, but it's not bothering me at all.
Wow, new record!
So you mean turn up the mic volume? Because you're having a little bit of trouble. So the issue too, part of it is the mic is right here. So if I'm playing, I'm talking away from the mic, which is going to make it a little bit harder to hear, I think, too. But I think the big issue is that I turn up the gain, so you're going to hear more of the game in the mic, too. But I can try and turn up the mic just a little bit. We'll see what happens. These are all things I normally like test before streaming, but yeah, I just didn't.
I'm so sick of
this time because I'm
You gotta know that.
just rolling the dice. This seems easy for a 9. Oh, don't get me wrong, James. I struggle through the same thing all the time. I'm just saying that in this case, I did not put in the effort that I normally do
Game over!
ahead of time because well, when I first set it up last week, I was trying to get it in before I left town. And that didn't happen. And then tonight when I came down to stream, I remembered being farther along than I was in the setup process. So I thought, oh, I scheduled the stream I think I scheduled the 6 o'clock stream at like 5:30, thinking, oh yeah, half an hour, no problem, I'll be fine. And I definitely needed more like 45 minutes. So I skipped a couple of steps. Looking at the setup, feels like nothing has changed from Farm 2. yeah, it shouldn't have. Like, I did have to adjust the layout a little bit, obviously to accommodate the widescreen video capture there. There. I'm pointing to it on screen. There, but I can't, my finger doesn't leave the frame, right? But, and then I did, like I said, I changed the overhead camera, so it should be a little bit better. Actually, a lot higher quality. It's a little bit darker, I think. I don't know. The lighting is different. I'm using different lights, and I don't think I have them set up 100% the way I would like. But they're decent. Yeah, I definitely just made some concessions and was like, it's good enough. Which is honestly unlike me. I'm the type of person that will normally stress out for, you know, an hour or two to fix a 2-pixel problem that nobody's going to notice. But in this case, I just kind of wanted to get the job done. And it seemed mostly good. Is the chat not coming up in the stream? I notice it's blank right now. But I wasn't paying attention if it was coming up before. Hello? Okay, it is. Alright, it had just cleared. So I guess it had been longer than whatever the timeout is to clear that out. Axel, is that an HD monitor? Is what an HD monitor? Are you talking about this one? You must have missed the beginning. The answer is no. This is the original CRT. So I'm using a scaler to scale the game down so that it will display on the original monitor, because I do not want to modify this cabinet. Is that the best decision? I don't know. I know a lot of people tell me that I should just replace it with an LCD, but I don't want to. So I'm not. And I get to do what I want. However, I will say I am thinking in Double X there is no setting. It's HD only. Yeah. That's why I have to run it through a scaler to get it down to this monitor. Because otherwise it wouldn't work. But I am considering getting the parts to make this a bracketless pad. I do really like those. Like when I play on Modern Pump, I really do like that bracketless pad. So I'm thinking about that. I might actually prefer spending the money on that than a Double X drive. Now, likely the bracketless stuff will be more expensive than the Double X drive, or it might be about the same. Given that I can at least play Double X, even though it's in Chinese, it plays just fine. It's not that hard to navigate. Getting a Double X international drive doesn't really get me a lot of benefit. Would I prefer it? Yes. But would I, $500+ prefer it? Not necessarily. That's $500+ that I could use toward, converting this stage that I would probably get a lot more use out of. So, plus, if I want to ever get Phoenix while it is current, I would probably rather spend the money on that as well. Yeah, sure. But if I do it, If I do it, I'll do it all. It's gonna be all or nothing. Yeah, that's about what I was looking at, probably between 900, like in the $900 to $1,000 range, to get the official parts to do the conversion. So yeah, that tracks. And I don't know what XX drives are going for, given that it's, you know, the game that's just coming off of being current. I would expect it to be in the $500 to $800 range, maybe, but maybe it's a little lower. But again, that is money that I would rather put toward the stage or toward Phoenix than toward a XX drive to just get the game into English. Like, English is, like I said, is it preferable? Yes. But is it necessary? No. If I could do it for $100, would I? Sure. But for more than that, you know, I'm like, it's not that, it's not that important to me. Yeah. Well, the Korean drives doesn't is of no benefit to me. I am just as illiterate in Korean as I am in Chinese. So anyway, let's keep rolling here.
大家好，现在由我来说明游戏操作方法。Kortek 的基本操作是利用脚踏板，另外跟踏板相似的按键也可使用。下面教你如何选择歌曲。看见两个蓝色踏板了吗？利用左右踏板选择你想要的歌曲。选好歌曲后，踩中间黄色键就可以选择难度。踩绿色键，选择相应的难度后，踩黄色键确定。再次踩黄色键，就可以用选择的难度进行游戏。哎呀呀，选错歌曲了，别担心。看见两个红色键了吗？只要踩红色键，随时都可以取消。真的很简单吧？那就和我开始愉快的游戏吧。
You know, I don't know that I've watched this in English. Never mind in Chinese. But, yeah, as far as I know, everything about the game itself is the same. It's just that the menus and the how to play and some of the text is in Chinese. But yeah, I also haven't seen the Chinese ones, the drives for sale. The only reason I have this one is because it came in a cabinet that came from China. So,
다시 날아와는 괴롭히네 no 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 내 집었네 나를 미치게 해 나도 나를 미치는데 어떻게 너는 나를 작아지게 하는 건지 I don't know 네 얼굴 행동 하나하나 다 Love it no 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 나를 봐 나만 봐내 옆에만 꼭 붙어 있어줘 그대 욕하지 마세요 Wing 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 boomerang Hey 돌아버려 Don't you know 얼마나 내가 원하는지 I promise you 난 너를 약속해 어디든 take you there 그 누가 뭐라던 I don't care 네 손에 반지 끼워줄 수 있게 Wing 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 Hey 돌아버려 내가 누른 건지 달린 건지 Hey 돌아버려 Boom 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 boomerang
Read it backwards. Of course I did.
Yeah, I knew you could do it.
Yeah, if there's any song list differences, I don't know about them. So, you all out in the chat might know better than me. In fact, I'm sure you do.
왜 예쁜 날 두고 가시나
Alright. I'm gonna try this. Let's see what happens. Like I said, 14s are generally like at the edge of where I can go, so don't expect a lot from me here.
너와 싸늘해진 그 눈빛이 나를 죽이는 거야. 커지던 네 맘의 불씨 잘만 남은 거야. 시간이 약인가 봐. 갈수록 날 가졌나. 슬픈 아픔도 함께 무뎌지는 거야. 좋아 이제 널 잊을 수 있게 꼭 같이 살려고답게 Ain't nobody stop me now. No driving 날 향해 원해 모두가 바보처럼 왜 너만 몰라 정말 미친 거 아냐 넌
왜 예쁜 날 두고 가시나
나는 작고 나는 커서 And it's over 시도라운가 해도 지금 당장은 나 없이 잘 살 수 있을 것 같지 아마 생각해봐도 미친 거 아냐 넌
왜 예쁜 날 두고 가시나
Those are fake at the end? That's fun.
Yeah, I knew you could do it.
So you think we're missing a song here?
Next stage.
왜 예쁜 날 두고 가시나 왜 예쁜 날 두고
I'm looking to see if it got stashed somewhere else, maybe.
like as a
But yeah, who knows? Maybe we're missing something. can also check the restriction menu. I wonder if things are turned off. I have not checked it. I don't know why anything would be turned off, but it certainly is possible. Alright, let's take a look. Game over. I assume.
Game over.
Restriction. I will say this is hard to read on my screen because it makes it a little bit too small. All the numbers match, so it doesn't look like anything is turned off. Because it says like 45 of 45, 76 of 76. And I do not see audios in here. Should that be? And you said, what else? Bonbon Chocolate and Han. Yeah, I don't see them in here, so I'm gonna say those are missing. Well, now we know. At least I've played them in the arcade, so theoretically I will still have played everything when I get to the end of this. Just not necessarily on stream, I guess. I'll keep my eyes open for a double X drive. If I see one for pretty cheap, I will try and get it, but like I said, it's not a super high priority. There are other things I would rather have.
康培尔的基本操作是利用脚踏板。
I don't know why I thought I could do it facing that way. I always try it and then I'm like, I can't do it. The Chinese voice is less annoying than the English one. That's funny. Yeah, James, I wanted to get a CX cabinet, I ended up getting the DDRX cabinet instead. I had money for one of the two, but not both at that time, and I'd really wanted that DDRX cabinet, so that's the one I ended up getting. And now I just don't have any more room. I would have to get rid of a game if I wanted to try and get a CX at this point. FX is fine. I'd rather have a CX though. I can't get a TX or an LX though, they're too tall.
진심만으로 말할 수 있어 all day 고양이보다는 강아지같이 날 기다렸지 하루 종일 뭐가 그리 슬펐지 이별에서 너가 가장 특별해 너는 그런 거 전혀 몰랐지 You want some more 왜 자꾸만 널 가두려 하는 건지 You want some more Sky is nothing to believe
New record!
Yeah, I guess my thought too, one of the things that led me to getting the so like I love I love the design and all the lights on the DDR-X cabinet. Like, I've wanted that cabinet basically since I ever saw one. So when I had the opportunity to get one, I jumped on it. As for a CX cabinet or a more modern pump cabinet, so you saw on stream, I went through basically the whole series of pump, starting with First Dance Floor, going all the way up to Prime 2. And all of those play natively on this cabinet. So Double X and now Phoenix are the only two games out of 20 something games or whatever that require some sort of like finagling to make it work on this cabinet. So that was like not, and at the time that I bought it, it was only one game. It was only Double X. So basically buying a whole nother cabinet to be able to play one game in its native format versus DDR-X cabinet, that means I get to play, X, X2, X3, 2013, 2014, Ace, Ace 2.0, Ace 3. So that's like 8 different games that are, all designed to play on that style of cabinet. So it seemed like a more like useful purchase to me. Like I would get more use out of it. Now, as time goes on, I may, rethink that, and I'll want to get pump. But, which is, although I guess you could say that technically I could still play Ace 3 on an original cabinet. Because they do still support SD. Even in the modern game, or in the current game, but
Come on, girls. We about to jump into love right now. Okay, put your hands together now.
it's one of those things, if I could just do everything, like if I could afford it and I had the space for it, absolutely, I would do it. I mean, if I could, I'd just buy an LX cabinet and be done with it, because I like those too. But there's a bunch of considerations that make that impractical and or impossible. So, just do what I can. And in this case, at least I can play it, so.
Yeah! I knew you could do it! Wow! New record!
Yeah, I can remember playing 2014 and Ace, I think, in SD,
Game over!
but I didn't spend much time with them. So, I don't know. I don't have any strong opinions on whether they're good that way or not. But they do at least work, which is more than I could say for Double X and Phoenix at this time. And James, I don't know if you were here at the very beginning, but to be honest, like, gameplay-wise, everything is still contained within the 4x3 area in this game. The only exception is the modifier menus. They are slightly off the edge of the screen, but still usable. But then, of course, these markers that tell you what mod you have chosen, so like that 2x very far out at the far right, that is completely off screen. So it's a little bit tough to see what you have selected, but actually using the menu, not a problem, oddly enough. But if you look at the actual like game itself, so once we get into the into this, look, you see the life bar and the arrows, they're all within the 4x3 area, so it's completely possible to play it in 4x3. They didn't really change that at all. In fact, it was funny because I was playing Phoenix on a CX cabinet at the convention that I was at last weekend, and their monitor was so overscanned that you could not see the life bar. It was off the screen completely, even though it was in 16:9. So you just had to like hope you were doing well enough. You had no idea if you were going to fail. So, Regen, the answer is usually yes, but some of them, I don't know. Like,
Next stage.
so I'm actually a television major, but I'm like a television major from the 90s. So, like, I remember, like, I had to deal with all of the, you know, CRT, NTSC bullshit, you know, title safe and action safe areas, and ridiculous, you know, 29.97 frame rate, and fucking interlacing. And the thing is like, as we've moved into the digital age of television, like, all of that shit stuck around. Like, we still have interlacing. I don't know why. We still have fucking overscanning for some stupid ass reason. Like, most TVs let you control all of that stuff, and that's great. Some don't. And then get fucked, I guess. I try not to buy those televisions. They make me angry.
지우지 못할 추억이 됐다.
Motion smoothing. God, that is the worst. I hate it. Especially when you try and motion smooth like a movie from like 24 frames a second up to 120. And it just looks like weird soup.
우리가 만든 love scenario 이젠 조명이 꺼지고 마지막 페이지를 넘기면 조용히 막을 내리죠. 에이, 괜찮지만은 않아 이거를 마주한다는 건 오늘이었던 우리의 어제 또는 내일이 없다는 건 아프긴 해도 더 끝없음 상처가 더 나니까 널 사랑했고 사랑받았으니 난 이걸로 됐어 날 살아가면서 가끔씩 떠오를 기억 그 안에 네가 있다면 그거면 충분해. 사랑을 했다 우리가 만나 지우지 못할 추억이 됐다 볼만한 멜로드라마 괜찮은 결말 그거면 됐다 널 사랑했다 우리가 만든 love scenario 이젠 조명이 꺼지고 마지막 페이지를 넘기면 조용히 막을 내리죠. 우리 아마도 해봤고 우습게 질투도 했어 미친 듯이 사랑했고 우리 이 정도면 됐어 우리가 만나 그거면 됐다 널 사랑했다.
Hello, Luis Buenas.
Do it. Wow, new record.
And hello, Brazil. You're one of 2 or 3 people I know that watch me from Brazil. That's interesting.
Next stage.
So I know the FX was a 480p panel to start. I thought the CX was at least 720.
사랑을 했다 우리가
But most 720 displays will take a 1080p signal and just do the scale themselves. So you're not as sunk as I am in my case.
떨려오는 별빛 반짝이는데 넌 어디를 보고 있는지 금방이라도 사라질 것 같은데 불이 켜져 심장이 깜깜해 오늘도 기분은 시무룩해 너의 말만 있는 내 모습은 내 맘 같지 않아 어느덧 내 놓쳐버린 걸까 좋아하는 만큼 별은 떠오르고 야단이 나는 어쩔 줄 모르고 안개 속에 갇힌 그 말 속에 담긴 도무지 알 수 없는 네가 생각나는 밤 떨려오는 별빛 반짝이는데 넌 어디를 보고 있는지
That was a move I wish I'd had the bracketless pad for. I definitely got caught on one. Oh well.
기다렸던 시간이 지나고 이제 보내줄게 아냐 아직은 너를 내 방에 몰래 간직하고 싶다 빰빰빰
it. Wow, new record.
Oh yeah. The first time I played Infinity, actually, it was on a TX cabinet, so it's that great big like 50 or 55-inch screen, whatever the hell it is.
Over.
And it was running in 480, stretched, and it was almost unplayable, honestly, because especially in double, well, we were talking about how, you know, the game, in like even in its true widescreen mode, it does keep the arrows to the 4:3 area, but because it was being stretched, it meant that the scroll like was the entire width of the screen, and on such a big screen, unless the stage was set way back from the machine, which it wasn't at the place that I was playing, like you had to kind of like turn your head a little bit to see the edges. You couldn't just like look at the screen and see all of it at once. It made it such a nightmare to play. Eventually, so I think, because if I'm not mistaken, Infinity was the first game to actually. Well, no, I think Pro 2 had the first like true widescreen mode. If I'm not mistaken. But it wasn't until we got to Prime that that the main series had widescreen. So yeah, it was always being stretched until we got to Prime. So like the entire Fiesta series, kind of garbage if you ask me, on the FX cabinet and the CX cabinet and the TX cabinet, unless the operator made the effort to like, you know, barn door it back to 4.3. Then it was okay, but then it looks weird because you've got the black bars on the side, but it's whatever. Yeah, the FX is kind of interesting in that it is similar to the DX in that it's very, very easy to replace the monitor because it's kind of just out in the open, so you don't actually like have to worry about fit. You just stick it on there and you're good. I would say it's even more flexible than the DX because the DX at least had that arch that you kind of generally want to stay within, although the space was so huge that basically most any normal display will fit in there, so whatever. But yeah, on the FX, like the monitor basically just sits on the pedestal, and then the marquee just kind of like sits on top of it. So to the sides, and there's nothing to really like. There's no box that the monitor sits in, you know, like this, that you have to worry about being too wide for, or too tall for, or too short, because everything width-wise doesn't matter. You can go as wide as you want. Height-wise, you just plop the marquee down on top of it. Who cares? That's that was unfortunate. Said I disconnected for a
大
second.
家好，
Looks like it came right back though, so I wasn't doing anything at least. I don't know. I personally like the CX cabinet design more than the FX, but that's just personal preference. So.
사랑을 했다. 아주 nice.
I think
아침에 네 골빛 쓰던 내가 오늘은 반짝반짝 눈이 떠지는가 데이트 날이라 그런지 어제 꿈도 조금 꿨지 새신 빠른 시간 현관문을 열고 나가면 이른의 신호를 많이 닮아 너에게 가는 길은 꽃길이 되고 보일 듯만 보이면 온몸이 간지 이 기분은 뭐야 어떡해 아주 nice 아주 nice 아주 nice 어떤 사람이 말아줘 연애는 연애뿐이라고 그걸로 끝을 가고 그렇다면 시작점이 끝이 될 수 있게 너로 시작해 나로 끝낼 수 있게 맞잡은 두 손의 원처럼 우리들 지겹네 지금 사랑 forever 우리 둘이 forever 두 사랑은 아니워진단 말은 믿지 않기로 해 믿지 않았으면 내 거로가 우리라는 나를 지켜질 수 있지 진지한 뜬감 없지만 뜬감 없지만 오늘 난 말해 아주 nice 아주 nice 아주 nice 오늘 하루도 아주 즐거웠어 다음 데이트도 빨리 했으면 좋겠어 집 데려다주는 길이 너무도 짧아요 내일 이 시간에 또 만나요
I knew you could do it.
yeah, I think my favorite design, my favorite cabinet design were the SX GX. Part of that is probably just because like that's what was current when I first started playing Pump.
Next stage.
But I do like them over the DX and the SD, for instance. When the CX came out, I really liked the CX, and that became my favorite one. I never really cared for the TX that much. I thought, but I think a lot of that was just because, like I said, at the time that it came out, they were still stretching 4:3 to 16:9, and that screen was too big to do that on, and it just looked bad. And so I never really warmed up to the TX. I also, the DDR-X cabinet was out at the same time as the TX, and they have similar looks to them, but I much preferred the DDR-X at the time. Here now, I mean, the TX has grown on me a little bit, especially now that like you can run it in the proper 16:9 mode. So, but I like the LX more than either the TX or the CX. But the problem for me is the LX is just, it's too tall. Actually, the TX is also too tall for my basement. In fact, the CX is also too tall. Except the Japanese one has a slightly shorter marquee that will fit. Unfortunately, because I need a Japanese CX, and there were so few of those, I may have missed my opportunity to buy a CX. Fortunately, this seems to work just fine, so.
Wow! New record!
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, there was a bunch of Japanese CX cabinets on the U.S. market for a little while.
Next stage!
But I imagine they've all been scooped up at this point. If I was going to try and get one, I'd have to, like, you know, track down somebody that got one of those and see if I could buy it from them. Yeah, I mean, yes, the answer is I could probably modify the regular CX to fit. I might even be able to do the same thing that I did with my DDR-X, honestly. So, fun story about my DDR-X. It is actually a little bit too tall. It touches the ceiling, and it would like push up the ceiling tiles. So I had to remove the wheels from the cabinet. Because normally, you know, you would lower the levelers to raise the wheels off the ground so that the cabinet won't roll. But I needed about an inch or two extra clearance, so I removed the wheels from the cabinet and then raised the levelers as far up as they would go, so they are sitting down on the levelers, and I clearing the ceiling in here by like a quarter of an inch, maybe maybe not even that, maybe an eighth of an inch. It's very, very close. So I don't know how close the normal CX is. I might be able to do something like that. Oh, jeez. Hanging on by a thread here. Man, I missed the turns pretty bad there.
Yeah! I knew you could do it!
James, I would never try to change your mind. The Japanese X cabinet is far superior to the Rothros cabinet. I will say, the Rothros cabinet has exactly two things has exactly two things going for it. It has side art. It's kind of nice. And I believe the top marquee is hinged, so it will fold down. The Japanese one is not hinged. It's bolted to the top with like, I think 14 bolts or something like that. It's a bunch. It's like, there's some that go inside, go straight down. and then there's like brackets that go on the back, and then there's like, you know, a bunch of bolts that go in there. Like, it's ridiculous how many bolts are holding that top marquee on. But it makes sense because it is 75 pounds and fucking huge. So if it were to fall off of there somehow onto somebody, you know, it would kill him. I mean, probably wouldn't kill him. It would hurt a lot though. So they definitely don't want that to fall down. But yes, other than those two things, like, everything about the Japanese cabinet is superior. Better lighting, better monitor, better hardware, just better stage. Holy shit. But we all know that. Pretty sure. I've played on, I mean, I think the nicest thing you can say about a Raw Thrills X cabinet is that it's playable. Like, but usually with some effort. Certainly the original X cabinet. The X2 stage they made a little bit better. That one you might be able to play out of the box, but they can be made playable and they're fine. But there's definitely nothing special about them. Is there any song, Lord Firebird, is there any song on any rhythm game I can't win at, no matter how hard I try? There's a lot of them. I'm not that good at any of these games. I was saying earlier, I'm a mid-level player on pretty much everything. So, you know, if the scale is out of 10, you can expect me to get up to, you know, 6 or 7, maybe the occasional 8. Past that, you know. If the scale's out of 20, you can imagine how you might get up to 13, 14, past that, you know. So yes, a lot of things I don't pass. I mean, there's exceptions. There's a few, like, you know, specific difficult songs that I can do. For the most part, I just don't care though. Like, it's not the way that I enjoy the game. I'm primarily a freestyler, and if I'm not freestyling, I'm just kind of like casually, you know, having a good time. I like to get, you know, I like the physical activity of it, but I don't like to just, you know, feel like I'm killing myself. The stock monitor in the Raw Thrills cab was superior. So I don't know a ton about the stock monitor in the Raw Thrills. I wouldn't be surprised. The original monitor in the DDRX Japanese cabinet is kind of problematic. Every one that I've seen at this point is at least yellowing, if not just straight up not working anymore. But at the time that they were released, I think they were fine. The issue is that it seems like there's not sufficient cooling in the cabinet for that monitor, and so it tends to age poorly. I think spec-wise and performance-wise, I think that monitor was probably just fine at the time. It just doesn't age well. The one thing that is kind of problematic about it, though, is that the original monitor in DDRX Japanese cabinet, it happened to come out at the time when, if you're familiar at all with how like LCDs were, you know, it's always like you start at whatever size, right? And it's kind of like incrementally, it's a little bit more, and you get a little bit bigger, and you pay a little bit more, you get a little bit bigger, pay a little bit more, get a little bit bigger, right? But then there's like some size that after, if you want to go beyond that size, it's not like incrementally more, it's like exponentially more, you know, where if you want to go from, say, like right now, that size tends to be about, I want to say 70, you know, it's like, it's kind of a smooth curve to get up to 70, but if you want to go beyond 70, so if you want like an 80-inch television or an 85-inch television, you can expect to pay a lot more than the 70, as opposed to just whatever the interval was, you know, getting up there. At the time the DDRX cabinet came out, that size was 37. And so a 37-inch monitor is what is in the DDRX, and also actually the Guitar Freaks Drummania XG cabinets, the ones with the big stacks and all that stuff. There's nothing inherently wrong with that. The problem, however, is that 37 being kind of an oddball size, once 40 became the cutoff size where, you know, that became the normalized, like, big size until you have to, like, pay a premium. You know, it was close enough, I think, to 37 that they just stopped making 37s. So the only 37s that you can really find are ones from that era, like 2008-ish, 2009-ish, that time. After that, they kind of just stopped making them. So if you want to get the proper fit in one of those cabinets, you can't really buy a new monitor. You have to just buy an old one. Now, apparently they did make retrofit kits to put 40s in those cabinets. So you get, you know, like a new bezel that has the opening bigger and new mounts and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, you can convert it and it's fine, but if you don't do the conversion, which I have not done in my cabinet, you're stuck at that 37-inch size and that 2008 age, basically. Kind of a pain in the butt. But fortunately, at least for my DDRX cabinet, that monitor had been replaced before it left Japan. So, like, mine is pretty fresh, looks good. I don't have any problems with it. It'll probably be fine, you know, for the foreseeable future. And of course, once a machine ends up in private ownership, you know, the amount that it gets played, like, severely drops, you know. I mean, I don't know anybody who has a machine in their house that is running, you know, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, the way that it would in an arcade. If they're, you know, if they play it 12 hours a week, that's probably a lot. So you tend to put a lot fewer hours on them, and they will tend to last a lot longer that way. But they didn't really get monitor cooling right until like 2014. Holy shit, have you seen like first gen Sound Voltex cabinets? Man, those monitors are fucking cooked. I mean, there's nothing wrong with those monitors. They worked fine new. It's just that that cabinet does not have sufficient cooling for them at all, and so they just cook themselves to death. They look like garbage after just a few years. One moment, please. I have an alarm set to remind me to do something, so I'm doing the thing. Okay, all done. I need to make a note of what number I was on so that I can get back there quickly. This is the last one I did, right? I think so. Yeah. Okay. You've been out of practice for 14 years. How do you keep your stamina up? I don't know. I definitely am. My stamina is the biggest thing holding me back. I mean, I can handle more than 3 to 5, but the fact that I can't get past most 14s in this game is because I just don't have the gas for it anymore. It's like I can generally, if I were to look at it, I could probably do the pattern. I just don't have the stamina for it anymore because I don't play as regularly as I used to. But apparently I play more than you do. Although, to be fair, I was never very much better than I am now. Just a little bit better. But it used to be easier. Now it's harder. Like, I can maintain almost the same level as I used to. It feels worse. But to be honest, like, I'm pretty happy that I'm able to do what I can, because I actually turned 49 next month, so I feel like the level that I'm at is decent, given that factor, given the age factor. Hey, y'all,
Next stage.
아쉬워 벌써 12시
Actually, Yellow, how's your new cabinet?
어떻게 벌써 12시나 아쉬워 벌써 12시
Nice.
말을 놓는 것도 아껴 너의 작은 말투도 나쁘지 않은 걸 Boy you know no 말없이 손을 잡고 조금은 놀라도 싫지가 않은 걸 You know boy 물감처럼 파랗던 하늘은 벌써
Man, I am so spoiled by the bracketless stage now. Like, playing on this is actually not... It's not, like, terrible, but I have to, like, think about it. So, Yellow Dray, I'm not certain, but I think the actual PC for XG is the same. It's a different Windows build, but I thought the hardware was actually the same. I could be wrong on that. But if you find out anything, let me know, because I would like to play XG as well. It's on my list of things to do, but I just haven't gotten there yet. But maybe one day. But you know how I am. Things get backburnered for like an undefined amount of time.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be advised, no more multi-level units and must be turned on.
Black is brown, brown is yellow, yellow is white, white is white. 많은 것을 듣더라고 watch만 단 곳은 가봐야만 할 것 같아. Shawty I'm fly, 마음이 붕 뜨게 밑도 위도 윈도 우도 us. 하늘이 파래서 당야, 너의 눈에 내가 돌발처럼 보일 테니까 난 뚝뚝. Like 풍선 뚝뚝 떨어져도 밑에는 쿠션 아니 쿠션. 바람이나 쿠션상 꾸미려버린 나의 미신야 섹슈얼하게 뱉어버린 한숨들은 추진 이게 되었고 슝 하고 뛰쳐나간 날 너는 어떻게 보고 있어. 락락 빛가 태웠던 시동아주 피펴 버린 날개를 타고 지쳐 버린 것들의 위로 빗빙 아니 빙을 하며 뛰겨 구름들을 지어 밟고 바람이 발등에 밀어불어도 푸르구나 위들은 두 날개로 날아가는 중화의 먹금 쿵 Let's get it Follow the famous 누구에게 무슨 의미인가 싶 나도 모르게 툭 튀어나와 말이 다시 뒤로 돌아와서 입안에 씹혀 마무리에 대한 감사 연주 내게 삶이란 이런 또 지시하리 I don't get it 그게 뭐가 됐든지 뭐 이미 주신 이름처럼 나를 그저 Give me heart 어디로 가는지 몰라 Just swerving 어디로 가는지 몰라 저 멀리 yeah 날아가서 구름 밟아 나는 발자국을 남겨 Cause I don't see you anymore 시동 걸어 vroom vroom Now you're like juju 나를 나를 boom boom And I really wanna set me free set me free I'll never let me down set me free I'll wait set me free I'll never let me down 어디로 가는 건지 모르지만 just swerve 가루들에 따라 흐르기 실름이 굴리거려거리 팔짝 무한대를 기다고 나와 있는 지어내게 다른 영혼의 동선인 possible science space를 방 possible 파리는 계속 깨어하시는 걸 파시든 이거 일경법 때는 지금 빙글빙글 하루 밑에 믿은 시는 속에 믿음
Yeah, I knew you could do it. Wow, new record.
Oh yeah, Firebird. Definitely access is a bummer. Or lack of access, I should say. It's gotten a little bit better
Game over.
around me, but I would say the 2010s were pretty slim pickings. Like DDR machines and pump it up machines were kind of like disappearing all through the 2010s until we had almost none, like in public service. I think it was easier to find somebody in town who owned a machine than it was to go to an arcade to play one. It's starting to come back here in the last few years at least though, so that's nice. I just noticed Adios is in the title movie. You don't get to play it, but we'll tease it. But so that's just different graphics card. Yeah, it's possible. I don't know, Yaldra, a ton about XG. My understanding is that it ran on XP, whereas Gitadora and Beyond run on 7 embedded, I guess. or is it 8 embedded? I think it's 7. But I'm not sure what you think. The XG PCB is the same as DDR-X. That would make some sense, actually, because they came out at the same time. Well, if that's the case, I could probably just steal the steal it out of my DDR for a minute if I wanted to try it. But anyway, yeah, Leaks Buenas, I agree. The music selection in XX, thumbs up, pretty good. I would say, Isayoi, I would say, like, my nearest Dave & Buster's is also about 20-25 minutes away from my house, but that one sucks. It also doesn't have DDR or pump, and all the games seem to be broken basically all the time. I'm just disappointed if I go there, and it's a bummer, so I just don't go. Also, Boss Battle is, like, 5 minutes from that Dave & Buster's, so I would much rather go to Boss Battle any day of the week. The Dave & Buster's further south of me, about an hour away, that one does have DDR and is a pretty decent location. And I'm friends with one of the maintenance techs, so he does a good job, keeps things working pretty well over there. So if I do want to go play, well, I guess H2O Plus, since that's as far as they ever get, as they're getting, I can go there. But again, Boss Battle also has a DDR, so I would probably just go there. Although I do need to make a trip down to the South Dave & Buster's at some point. It's been probably a year and a half since I've been. I like it. It's just, a bit of a trek. And as for round 1, there are none in my state, so I got to drive probably minimum 2.5 hours to get to one out of state. So there you go. Yeah, XG has been on the project list for probably a year or two. It just hasn't been getting worked on. So one of these days, it'll happen. I mean, it took me over a year to make to make this happen. What I'm doing today. So, it is what it is, I guess. Dave & Buster's won't release Ace 3 because they don't want to pay for it. And quite frankly, I don't blame them. Where am I at? 2.5 hours on this one? Okay. It seems like I'm gonna get through the K-pop, and then maybe we'll come back and do other stuff on the next stream. Oh, actually, I just got out of K-pop. So, oh well. Well, I guess I can go for a little while longer. I'm starting to get tired, but I'm not like crazy tired yet. So we'll do a few of these. Alright, let's try the 13. Watch, I'm gonna have instant regret. Oh, I am definitely missing the bracketless stage. Too much. Too much for me right now. And 51.
Why don't you just get up and dance, man?
Game over!
Shrimp, yeah, I will try a co-op chart, but I would need some more people for that. But we'll probably do it. Alright, how about the 7th? Or maybe I should save this for the next stream. If I was attacking this with fresh legs, I might be able to do it. But I'm not kidding about that, about the bracketless stage. I feel like I have to lift my feet a lot more to not trip and get caught. So it takes more energy to get through the harder charts. Or at least that's my story and I'm sticking to it. Because I think I could probably handle that 13, just not right now on this stage. Miss Jonas, how do you, what home pad do you have? I'm glad you have at least something. But yeah, it's a bummer when like there's no public places to play. I definitely know that feel though. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I knew you could do it. Wow, new record.
How long did it take to make this arcade? I've been collecting games for over 20 years now, so
Next stage.
it's been a long time. Hold on. I need to update this, but that is that's a tour of everything I've got. But it's about a year and a half old now, so I do have a couple of new things since that video was made. Plus, you may notice the carpeting, the blacklight carpeting. That's new since that video was made. So I need to update. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. There's always something to do, right? I'll probably make a new video when I tear this streaming setup down. So probably sometime in the next month.
That's the way to go. Wow, new record.
So you have a handmade, is it like wooden? Is it metal? Is it plastic? Is it a soft pad? I'm guessing since you mentioned it doesn't have a bar, it probably is some kind of like solid thing. I'm guessing a bar is an option. Wood and metal. Okay, cool. And that works pretty well for you? But yeah, I'm definitely a no-bar player. I've been playing DDR since late 2000. I think I first played Pump. The very first Pump I ever played was the premiere, so whenever that came out. But I only played it a couple of times then. I didn't really start playing until Exceed, and then really Exceed 2. So it was more like 2005-ish before I started playing Pump with any regularity at all. But back then, back in those days, like in tournament play, if you use the bar, you got disqualified. So I definitely like grew up not using the bar because it was not allowed. So I never, it's not a technique I ever like learned. I've tried using it a couple of times. I actually found that I was considerably worse at the game, so I just, and it's not fun to me. I'm kind of the same way. You said you play up to 13s and 14s, and after that it's hard without the bar. I agree with you, but adding the bar to pass more difficult songs doesn't make it more fun for me. It makes it less fun for me. So I would rather just make that like my limit and just play up to what I'm able to in the manner that I'm most comfortable and leave it at that. I'm not saying anything against bar players. Obviously, it is basically the standard at this point. So, you know, you do you. It's not for me. It's not how I enjoy the game. All right. Well, you know, I'm trying to decide if I want to stop. I'll do one more round, and then I'm probably going to wrap it up for now. I especially I would be more likely to play DDR with a bar than Pump, only because what makes Pump so much fun to me is the fact that it does make you turn and move, you know, within the stage, even in just single player, you know, like it has you turn all the way full sideways, and like trying to do that while holding onto the bar is quite awkward. Whereas DDR, you can play without turning very much at all, and it's quite easy to do it that way. I know you can play Pump without turning very much either, or turning as much, but that's what makes it fun for me, and so I want to do that, so that's why I'm just like, no thank you. No thank you on the bar. Jesus Christ, why is this the easiest thing is a 16? Oh, I guess there's the performance chart as a 4. Well, fuck, whatever, let's try it. I don't like my chances, but... I can read it, but I can't keep up with it. This is another one I feel like I might have a little bit better chance on the bracket list stage. But this is probably out of my league anyway.
Just get up and dance, man. Freedom.
Too much for me. Too hot. I like the song just fine. It's just too hard for me. Firebird, does it take long to get used to the pad? I don't personally think so. So, I know a lot of people I assume you're coming from DDR, and I think a lot of people get it in their head that pump with 5 steps is harder than DDR with only 4. And I guess to some extent that's true. However, I would say that if you had played neither, if you started DDR and, you know, played up to a certain level, but then if you could like erase your memory of DDR and start pump without thinking about DDR at all and play up to a certain level, it would take you about the same amount of time. I think they are different from each other, but they are similar. But there are a lot of there are techniques that kind of work in one but not necessarily the other. And so if you're used to one, so I would think that somebody who started on pump trying to learn how to play DDR, they would also struggle. So if that's what you mean by how long does it take to get used to it, honestly, I would say not that long. I mean, when I first started playing pump regularly, I was able to get the hang of it pretty quickly. And these days, I mean, I can bounce back and forth, play a game of DDR, play a game of pump, and it's not that big of a deal. Like, making the adjustment isn't that hard. So, it's like anything else, it's just practice. And I saw Max was in there. I didn't see what he said, but hello. Quinn, yeah, the Double X intro is pretty cool. It's very busy. I think Prime 2 is my favorite, or sorry, Prime 1 is my favorite. But Double X is definitely good. I like Phoenix too. I don't know. Pump intros in general, pretty hype. Pretty fucking hype. Alright. I think that was only 2 songs since I failed the first one, which is totally fine with me. Alright. I am gonna hang it up for tonight. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm glad that I finally got Double X working, and it's been fun to play it. I've played most of the K-pop songs. I actually have not played a lot of the other songs, so the next stream or two are going to be a lot of new stuff for me that I've never really played or seen. I didn't get a whole lot of opportunities to play Double X, mostly on account of the fact that, you know, the closest one was 3 hours away from me, so I just didn't get that many opportunities to go. But I did enjoy it when I was able to, but I'm definitely looking forward to having the opportunity to spend some more time with it. Whew, I am so winded from that last song. Actually, to be honest, I think I'm winded from the song before it. But anyway, yeah. It's good to see all of you, all the people. Saw a lot of familiar names in there today, some new ones. I appreciate you all coming to hang out and spend some time watching me play. Maybe, you know, and chit-chatting a little bit. I hope you had a good time. I'm not sure when I'm going to be back on. Probably sometime in the next few days, though. I imagine now that everything is kind of set, it should be relatively easy for me to just like come down here and decide to do it. So keep your feed open and on the lookout. But and then I'll try and see if I can get some people to show up for like a little party stream too, because it will definitely be fun to try some of the co-op charts. That's another thing that interestingly, I have played a decent number of the ones in Phoenix, because the few times that I've played Phoenix, I have been with other people. The few times that I played Double X, I really often was by myself, so I have not gotten to see a whole lot of those co-op charts. So I'll be looking forward to seeing how those go, because I definitely enjoy them. But until next time, hope you all stay safe and warm and dry. For those of you that live in the U.S., especially the eastern U.S., because that seems to be how things are right now. For those of you in the southern hemisphere, I guess, enjoy your nice summer. But anyway, I'm going to sign off of here, and I will see you all next time. Take care, everyone. Bye, 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 bye.